This is Jaden's videos, and I am so excited for today because it is the first day of Fearville 2025 builds and the first Fear vlog of the 2025 season. So I'm very excited for this year's Fearville. It is the 4th year of the event, and I think it's going to be an amazing one. We have so many amazing things coming this year for Fearville, and I just cannot wait. I think it's going to be our best season yet. We are bringing back the hayride after not having it last year, so I'm so excited for that. We have a more kid-friendly sort of trail as well, which is going to be part of the event this year. But my main priority, my main thing, as always, is the haunt and the main draw of Fearville as a whole. And this year, I know I haven't discussed it a whole lot yet, but it is Eden's Grove. It is a demonic Southern Gothic type of haunt. It's a freaky concept for sure. I think it's definitely going to be the scariest haunt we've ever done. I'm so excited. Now, crazy thing, today is July 21st. That is crazy because this is the earliest we have ever started setting up Fearville, ever. As the event gets earlier and earlier each year when it takes place, like it used to just be the end of October, then it started in the middle of October, then last year it started at the beginning of October, and this year that's the same case. It is starting at the beginning of October, but even a day earlier than last year. So it gets earlier each year. We need to start working on it earlier each year. Now, usually by this point, I have already worked on painting walls or facades or something. I haven't done that this year, and the only reason why is because you will see in a moment, but this year's haunt doesn't need as many walls or facades painted, and you'll see what I mean by that in a moment when I show you the land in the walkthrough. Basically, there doesn't need to be as much as usual, and so I figured I'm just going to get the things up, and then anything that does need to be painted will be painted once it's already up. I think that would make a lot more sense since there's not as much of it as usual. So our team this year is huge. I know you guys haven't met a lot of them yet. You'll be seeing them soon. And we have people from 2023 that weren't able to do 2024 coming back, and 2023 was my personal favorite Fearville team, so I am so excited. This year's just turning out to be a great season, it's gonna look like, so I'm stoked.
Now, of course, you probably noticed this is where the haunt has always been for Fearville. Fearbrook Asylum was here in the tent. Oddville was here in the tent. Maple Hollow was here in the tent and wrapped around there. This year, this is where the little kid-friendly haunt is going, Hollow Grave Cemetery. Now this year, there is 2 different events that are kind of the same thing. If you don't want scary, you just pay for Spookyville, which will encompass this kid-friendly haunt, which I am not building. That is not my thing. And the hayride, which is over here just like always. That will be included too, but it will be scarier. So it's also included in Fearville, as both of these things are. So if people pay for a Fearville ticket, they get the haunt and the 2 less scary ones. Whereas if you just pay for the less scary, you don't get the haunt. So hayride's gonna be over here. Now it's gonna be a pumpkin patch type of theme because that just makes sense. And I think we're gonna stick with that for the rest of the event. I think it's always gonna be pumpkin patch moving forward. Now this is where things get fun. As you saw, I went down that way because that's usually the way you'd go down to get to the haunt. Not this year. This year, you go this way, and this is where Fearville begins. Because like I said, Fearville is its own separate ticketed thing. Whereas if you pay for Fearville, you get everything, but if you don't pay for Fearville, you don't get the haunt. So Fearville itself includes everything, but it's also its own thing at the same time, whereas it is the scary experience. And this will be the entrance to Fearville, not the entrance to the haunt. The entrance to the Fearville event will be right here. And in here will just be sort of like a scare zone. I'm thinking probably farm themed because it just makes sense and it's easy to do. But yeah, that's what this will be. And then when you turn here, boom, you have this year's Fearville haunt staring you down right there. And that is going to be Eden's Grove. So I'm super excited. As you can see, this is a completely new area for me, but it is not a completely new area for Fearville. In 2023, Brian Wyckoff, who did Wyckoff's Haunted House, did the Hellbilly Trail over here. And last year, Mac at Hauntformer, who is not doing a haunt at Fearville this year of his own, he's just assisting with mine, he did Shelter 16 over here last year. Since this area was not occupied this year, I decided to make the switch, because as much as I liked the big openness of that area, it worked for a tent, but it didn't work for a trail, which is what I decided to start transitioning to, because trails are just so much better to do when you have an outside location. So right here is the facade, which is going to be a church, of course, because it is a demonic Southern Gothic town theme. So you need a church for the front facade. Now, I'm not building the facade this year, which takes a lot off of my hands. Someone is helping with that. I am going to do parts of it. And the person who is working on it, I have instructed him basically what I want it to look like. I've shown him my design ideas. He's just building. You walk in, and this is the church. You can see the walls around here, gonna be church pews, of course. There's gonna be a demon priest at the altar there. Now the church goes farther back than the walking path goes, because you need room for the altar. So the walking path actually goes out here, and you go out this way, and then you are in the graveyard of the church. So a very Southern Gothic cemetery. And there is, as you can see, it's just so useful with these trees here, because these kind of work as posts in a way, because I can run my walls from those two posts. So that's the last post I need to put in, which is great. So I've actually made the path very much so go in the type of the way that the trees go, where it weaves in and out of the trees in a way. And up on this little hill here will be a mausoleum, Southern Gothic old mausoleum. So I think that should be pretty sweet. You go here, you're still in the cemetery. So this is all still graveyard, which is fine, because I think graveyards are one of the most Southern Gothic things there is, and they definitely can lend well for demons. You're gonna go back here, gonna wrap around here, wrap around these trees. It's very tight spaces. I love it, makes it so much scarier. And then you go in here, there's a lot of wrapping around. And then you come face to face with the church yet again. This is where I ran out of flags. But this area is pretty self-explanatory, because there's so many trees, you'll kind of get a gist of what the path's gonna look like anyways. Now you're finally away from the church. Well, you walk by it one more time, but then you go away from it. And this is where you kind of enter the back roads of this southern town. You have the repent signs and stuff here. There's a bit of weaving back and forth here. And then you're back in the woods of this town. There's not really many walls that I need to put in this area, because the nature kind of did it for me here, which I'm so grateful about. And then there will be a wall here, you'll wrap around here, and there will be an altar. Now this is an actual sacrificial altar, which is gonna have like a burning body on it or something. So that should be pretty cool. And then you'll wrap around here, and right here is the final scene, which is a house. It's a shack. It's basically a religious shack, and it is the priest's house pretty much. So today is July 30th. The last segment I shot of this video was about a little over a week ago, because I just didn't get around to shooting stuff. But there has still been significant progress made, and I want to show it. First off, flags. I think I already showed all these flags, I think. But I did start doing poles. There's 2 in right now for the fences, so that's exciting. I'm gonna do a lot more of those tomorrow, but I have 2 of those right now for our first fence wall that's gonna go up. But over here is the main progress that has been done, and what I wanna show. This is the mausoleum, the crypt coming together, and I'm really liking it. I really love how it's on that hill there. It just looks so awesome. It makes it look taller than it really is up on that hill, and I really like it. It still has a lot to be done on it, of course, as you can see, but it's coming together. I have the main structure done for it. I mean, I've got these posts holding up these boards for the walls. This whole structure in here is done. It's got the roof shape. The roof obviously still needs to be put on, but that should not be too difficult. It's got the doorway cut into it. There it is, and it's a full structure. I'm gonna need to brace the tops there where it's bending a little bit and warping to make that look a little bit better. But other than that, it's looking cool. It's gonna be painted gray to look like, you know, stone, of course. So that is the main thing that's gonna bring it to life, obviously. But what I'm actually about to do is I bought, here, I'll go show it in a second, but I bought some trim to go around the doorway there. Okay, here we got it with the trim. I'm liking it. I am. I think it's looking pretty cool. I think this trim that I got was the right call, this ornate looking trim. Instead of just wood boards around it like I was gonna do, this looks a lot more like a stone mausoleum. And 100% it's gonna look more like it when it's painted like stone, when the whole thing's painted that color. I'm probably going to put some trim around the roof there too. I don't know if I'm gonna do it all the way around. Probably not. Probably just the front. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it looks once I get it going. But I'll probably put some trim around there. That's probably not gonna be the ornate trim. It's probably just gonna be wood boards, because it's just to kind of make it stick out a little bit more, so that, sorry, so the peak isn't as flat. But I'm liking it. Like I said, it needs to be painted like stone, and then one of the other things I need to do with it, other than the roof of course, which still needs to be done, but one of the other things I need to do with it is I'm going to put the wall, the candle sconces that Spirit had on the ISE in 2023, because I have those. So today is August 3rd. I want to record a little bit before it gets too dark out. I'm going to do a couple more things, but I just want to record a little before it gets too dark out. You see this? You see this progress here? We are making it. Here is the first fence wall of the haunt done. And I like it. Okay, I know it's just a fence, so it's nothing too special. But let me preface why I'm super happy with this. These fences are actually from my backyard. We got a new fence put in recently, because originally I was going around looking for fence panels, because fence panels are freaking expensive. It's like $80 just for one 8-foot panel, and that's a lot of money to cover a whole haunt in. I mean, the whole haunt isn't going to be fence panels, but at least half of it is. So that's a lot of money. However, I didn't know how they were going to turn out, because these are actually only 4 feet panels. Fence panels come in 8, but the people who took out the fence cut them in half so that they'd be easier to transport. So I was like, well, shoot, I don't know how well this is going to look since they're in pieces now, but it's actually coming together pretty nicely, where it looks pretty seamless. I mean, it looks like all one fence. It doesn't look like they're all 4-foot panels. Also, obviously, I want it to look old and decrepit, and I really like how old and decrepit these look, because as they were taking the fences apart, they obviously broke, pieces came off. I love it. It fits the vibe that I want. They've got like weathering on the bottom, like they're already pre-made spooky for me. It's perfect. They're not brand new looking panels. They look like they've been through hell. Today is August 16th, and a lot has been done. In the past, I would say week or so, I don't remember when I made the last section of this video. Only reason I hadn't shown anything is because by the time I had finished working on stuff each night, it was too dark to really get any good footage. So I just decided to wait until I can record it during the day. But as you can see, I started some set decorating. I got some of the tombstones out and about in the graveyard scene. There's a lot more than just this. This is just the first section, obviously, when people exit the church right into the graveyard here. I've got these ones, and there's going to be a lot more tombstones. I really hope Home Depot has a lot this year, because that's most of the ones you'll see that I'm using, because Home Depot's tombstones are just such good outdoor rated quality, and they look very realistic and professional, especially for their price. But their site didn't show them having too many this year, so I really hope they do, because they sell well and they're great. They're really great, so I really do hope they have a good amount this year, because I do need some more. But as you can see, turn around the corner, there's just tombstones littered throughout the whole graveyard scene, and there's going to be so much more set decorating and stuff in here. I haven't even scratched the surface on it yet. It's still only the middle of August. We have a month and a half until opening. A lot of set decorating stuff will continue to get cranked down as we go. Of course, there's still so many walls and everything to put up, so I'm just doing things as I do them, and we'll get there. But I really like this angel right here. That'll be blocked off, so people won't see that. But I had tested different areas with all of these tombstones, because I wasn't sure where I was putting each one, because there's so much space to fill in the graveyard scene that I don't know. I was conflicted, but I think the placements of the ones I have are probably where they're going to be. And I'm pretty happy with how they're looking, so that's good. We have the angel right there, and then this one right here, and this isn't even a Home Depot tombstone. This is an actual like garden statue with its head broken off that I got last year. I just found it on the side of the road, or someone found it for me. I can't fully remember, but yeah, we got that last year. But here's the mausoleum, and as you can see, it's got a bunch of stuff on it now. This is stuff that Chloe applied last night, and she said it takes about a day to dry. It seems like it's dried pretty well, so that is good. So I don't fully know what this stuff is. I'd have to ask her. I don't fully know what it is, but she applied it, and what she's going to do is she's going to paint it green on, I believe, Monday. And it's going to have a mossy look to it. So that's to add like a moss texture. And I think that's going to look sweet when that's done. And then after that, really the only other thing that needs to be done with the mausoleum, she's going to put a few more cracks on it. And then I obviously need to do the roof, which should only take a couple of minutes once I get that roof there. And then I want to put those torches, as I said. I want to put the torches on either side here. But I'm not going to do that until she's painted the green, because I don't want them to be in the way. So the mausoleum's almost done, is what I'm trying to get to. But over here, got this Reaper statue. Again, there's a lot more tombstones and stuff I'll need. This is just the start of it. I really hope Home Depot has good tombstones this year. I don't know. We'll see. A lot more poles put in. I can't fully remember which ones I had already shown, but a lot more poles put in. And I also added a couple more flags of where I'm going to put new poles, because I decided to add a few other more just twists and turns here, because why not? It'll only take like, what, 2 minutes to put up some extra walls there just to make people have to twist and turn a little bit more. Makes it more claustrophobic and also helps the length a little bit. But a lot more poles been put up here. Most of these poles are done, other than those few and then those few there. But I put up some camo netting. Now, I was gonna use this camo netting also for this part, because this is once you've got into like the backwoods of the town. So the camo netting is mostly here because it blends in very well, especially in the dark. I mean, you could see it in the day, but especially in the dark, it blends in very well with the trees and all the vines and the just natural plant life back here, that it looks like it's just a part of that. And it blends in very well with it. But I don't like it enough to spread it out into here, because I would kind of like this to still be fence panels, because this is not back in the trees like that is. Like that blends in well because back in the trees. Up here, since it's kind of open, I don't think it would blend in as well at all. And so I'd still like to do fence panels for these ones. I would just have to find those fence panels, but we'll get there. But yeah, I put camo netting all along here, and you're gonna see as I go around. Obviously you could see through it during the day. At night, completely different story. And I've actually kind of doubled up on it. I've put multiple layers behind it so that it makes it even more difficult to see. I might even put even more. But as you can see, this goes pretty far. It mostly just covers this area here. It droops in some parts, but I'm not worried about that, because I've decided, because I said I was going to put like skeletons on crosses, I decided I'm going to put them here, and then that's going to attach to that basically. So go around here, we have this, I have that's going to be camo netting, I'm pretty sure, when that wall's up. We'll wrap around here. We have this, which I really like. So I know it's just crappy lattice fencing, but it works for a haunted house. I like how it looks, because, whoops, when you come around here, I decided to also extend this that way, make that even longer so people have to go around that. This was always planned, the final scene in the haunt was always planned to be like the preacher's house, the old rundown shack where the preacher or cult leader or whatever lives, which is the final scene, which is going to be up here. As I said, I'm going to work on that next month. But I never really thought too much about the scene leading up to it. Obviously you would need a path leading up to it, but it was kind of just going to be kind of filler, just to transition into that final scene. But because I actually really like how this fencing looks, as I was looking at it, and especially at night when I had like a light shining through it and it was casting like shadows, I was like, this, when I have the other one here, this will look like the perfect front yard of the shack. And so I'm going to detail it more than I had initially planned to make it look like a front yard to the shack. And actually, one thing that I'm really happy about with this is I was like, okay, this is perfect. I can do the whole old clothesline thing that a lot of haunts do, where you have to weave in and out of clotheslines. Always wanted to do that because it's just such a perfect setup for scares, because people can't see what's next to them or what's around them because they have clothes hanging in front of their face. But I've never had a theme. Well, last year Maple Hollow was originally going to have it until I didn't do the backyard of the house, because the Maple Hollow house was originally going to have a backyard, but I didn't do that scene. And so I never have had a scene where I could do that and it would make sense. And I mean, this is perfect. This is where you would hang clotheslines out front of a house. So I'm very excited to be able to do that as one of the final scare scenes in the haunt, because also, if you'll notice, because there's this building here and because this is here, there's not a lot of places for actors to hide in this spot. There's not a whole lot of hidden areas for actors to jump out of. And so I think having those clotheslines solves that issue. So yeah, and I also think it just makes this being more of a defined front yard scene is just going to make this whole final scene flow a lot better, because it makes a lot more sense why you're going from the backwoods of the little town and now you're into a house. It's because you went through the backwoods and now you're into the front yard of the house. It just makes the transition easier. It just makes a lot more sense story. Have I taken it too far? Have I crossed a line? Am I taking this too far, y'all? Okay, so I do want to say this. I put the skeleton on the cross. I really like it. I think it's really creepy. And my segment there was a joke, obviously. It's a freaking haunted house, people. It's for Halloween. Its whole purpose is to scare people. And I think having imagery like this, having something creepy like this, having, no matter what the torture method may be, if this was the rack, if this was anything, having a depiction of a human being being tortured and sacrificed is going to scare people. It's going to freak people out, because that's just what happens. No one wants to see that. And therefore, I think it's effective, it works, and I like it. There are a couple other things I want to do with it, other than just leave it, just nail it up here and leave it. I would like to, because if you can see there, that little camo netting coming off the side there, I really like how that looks hanging off. So I'll probably put vines, when I start doing the vine details on all of my sets, I'll probably put some vines hanging off of it to look like it's been here a while, because obviously this isn't supposed to be a recent corpse, it's all decayed. And it's possible that I'll have Chloe kind of do like a charred look on it to make it look like they were burnt beforehand too. Or maybe there was a flame at the bottom and they were burnt. Would actually be a cool idea, I think. So we're going to see. I'm going to see. I don't know if I want Chloe to do that, simply because I want to use this same corpse for other haunts in the future, and I don't always want it to have a burnt look. But if she can do a burnt look that isn't like entirely like hellified flame, you know, then I think that would be cool. We'll see. I'll ask her what she can do. But as it stands, I think this is pretty cool. And over here, as you can see, I finished this this fence line here. So now this is completed where this goes here. And they are a different color. Either I'm going to leave it like that, because in the dark you can't tell. And I mean, there's going to be lights, haunt lights over here, but of course they're going to be dim and they're going to be different colors. And there's not going to be a light shining directly on it like this. So you probably won't be able to tell, but if I decide to, I can have the top painted the same color as the others if I decide it's too noticeable. I don't know. I'll figure that out when it comes down to it. But I do want to end here. This has been a very long-winded Fearvlog. It might be the longest one I've done in terms of the period of time it's covered. Most of them I've covered a week or less. This one has been, what, almost a whole month since I started on stuff. So it's this has been a long one, but I wanted to get a lot of progress in there, and I at least wanted to get some cool progress, so it's not just like I'm uploading a whole Fear vlog that's just, oh, I got walls up. I wanted something like this, and the tombstones, and some decoration, cool stuff to show you guys before I put this one public. But I'm cutting it here because I know this is going to be a pretty long-winded one, and I want to get this one out there so you guys can see it and watch it and get hyped, and then I will jump into the next one immediately after this one's done. The next thing I do on the haunt will just be an installment in the next Fear vlog, which will then come out. And as usual, as we get closer to the haunt, and as I'm here working on it more often, once all of the walls are up especially, and it all comes down to set dressing and lighting, there's going to be way more Fear vlogs, which are shorter vlogs, because the first one's usually the longest, just because I want to cover a good amount of the first progress, so there's actually stuff for you guys to see. And then as it goes on, and there already is good amount of stuff to see, and it's just fine-tuning stuff, more will be coming out. And also there's a Fearville meeting later this month, where we're going to have our first team meeting of the season, where we all meet and discuss everything, get everything running. And then we have dress rehearsals and costume fittings next month. And then, of course, during the opening, I'll be doing these Fear vlogs for the behind the scenes for all of those things, of course, including our preps for opening night and all of that stuff. So just as per usual, but I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know what you're thinking of the haunt progress so far. Remember that here lies Halloween. And be sure to get your tickets at the link now until August 31st. If you put the code FEARTHEFARM as promo code, it's all caps, in on the site, you get, I want to say, 18% off. Is it 18? It might be 13. I don't know. It's some kind of percent off. When you put it in on the site, you'll see. It's some kind of percent off your ticket. So if you live in the area and you want to come check us out this season, go ahead and do that to save some money. Remember that here lies Halloween.